Hello, friends. Today we will talk about basic mathematics in poker, which will help us understand when it is profitable to place a bet. Let's start with outs and equity calculations. Out is any unseen card that, if drawn, will improve a player's hand to one that is likely to win. Knowing the number of outs a player has is an important part of poker strategy. In this example, it is clear that we need to collect a flush, so all cards of the heart suit will be our outs. The ace can also be our out. With it, we can count on the top pair. On this board, we are missing one card to make a straight, namely the 8 and the kings, which will be our outs. Equity in poker refers to a player's mathematically expected share of the pot, given the current situation in the hand. In other words, equity is the probability that your combination will be stronger than the others. For example, in this case, when we have an ace and a queen in our hand and our opponent has a pair of nines, our equity will be 47% against 53%. If these cards were revealed in the flop round, our equity would increase to 91.5%. So let's figure out how to calculate our equity. To do this, we first need to count the number of our outs. In this example, we need one card to make a flush. So all cards of the heart suit will be our outs. We know that there are 13 cards of one suit in the deck. 4 cards are already face up on the table, which means there are 9 cards left in the deck. In this example, we are 1 card short of a straight on both sides. That means we have 8 outs, 4 eights and 4 kings. In this case, we have 4 outs, because we are only missing one of the 4 sixes to make a straight. Now that we know how to count the number of outs, let's figure out how to convert them into percentages. During the flop round, you see 5 cards, 3 on the table and 2 in your hand. So there are 47 unknown cards. Since we have a flush draw, there are 9 cards of the same suit left that we need, 9 outs. Therefore, the probability that we will get the card we need in the next round is 19%. If the card we need does not appear during the turn round, then in the last round, this percentage will be 19.6%. Therefore, the probability of completing a flush in the next 2 rounds is 38.6%. To simplify this process, let's figure out the odds of getting one out, namely one card that we need. After that, we simply multiply the number of outs we need by this value. Let's look at this example again. So, the probability of getting one out is 2.2%. Let's round this value to 2%. To collect a flush, there are 9 cards left in the deck that we need. Therefore, we multiply 9 by 2 and get 18%. To find out the odds for 2 rounds, we simply multiply 19% by 2 and get 38%. Let's look at another example. To make a straight, we need a 7 or a queen. There are 4 sevens and 4 queens in the deck, so we have 8 outs. Multiply 8 by 2, and we get a 16% chance of making a straight on the turn. And the chance of making a straight on the turn in river is already 32%. In a situation where we have a gut shot, we only have 4 outs, so the chances of making a straight in the turn round are 8%, and the chances of a straight in the turn and river rounds will be 16%. The next thing to study is the pot odds. Pot odds, the ratio of the bet size to the current pot size. The bank's odds are calculated as follows. Divide the amount you need to call by the bank's amount after the bet, and multiply the resulting number by 100 to convert it into a percentage. Let's consider the following example. In this situation, we have a flush draw. There is $10 in the pot. Our opponent bets $5. With this information, let's calculate our odds. If we call $5, the pot will increase after our bet. $10 was at the beginning of the round, plus $5 from our opponent and our plus $5, and we will get $20. So, based on this, our odds are 25%. Let's move on. We already know that our chances of making a flush are 18%. We have 9 outs, which we multiply by 2. So we get 2 values. The pot odds are 25% and the equity is 18%. If our equity is greater than the pot odds, then it is profitable for us to raise the bet. In our case, the equity is less than the pot odds, so it is not profitable for us to call the bet. Let's consider the last example. Playing on the flop round, we will be counting on a flush. We have 9 outs, so our equity in the turn round will be 18%. Taking into account the next round, we have 36%. Now let's calculate the pot odds. You need to call $15, after which the bank will grow to $50. So the pot odds are 30%. Since our equity is 36%, which is more than the pot odds of 30%, it is profitable for us to call the bet.